Hello everyone. Today we're going to be going over delivering a lead magnet. This is lesson 1 in a series that I'm putting together to help you make use of WordPress, in this case the optimized press theme, and Infusionsoft to come up and get a lead magnet out there for getting a couple of things done. And here's our agenda. We're going to go over why we want to do this, what's the goal, exactly how a squeeze page works, and what we're trying to accomplish with it. Then I'm going to go over the pieces and parts. And one of the things I think new Infusionsoft users run into is the fact that there are so many different pieces. It's not difficult to complete in any one of them, but it is difficult to see how you string them together and use all these pieces and parts to get something done. And then I'm going to walk through a very specific example that you can follow yourself and get your lead magnet delivery working. So what's our goal? Well, our goal is to find more prospects. We want to make sure that we can identify new people that would be interested in our product and services. We want to grow our list. Now, we are going to be selling them, but we're not going to be selling them yet. What we're interested in doing is giving them something in exchange for their name and email address. Step 1 in a lot of sales processes has nothing to do with having people pull out their wallet. The currency that they're going to be using is going to be their name and email. If you can get them to part with that, you've gotten them to take a step towards in your direction and a step into the sales process. And then what we want to do is deliver a lead magnet, and I call this the simplest way because I'm going to be recording some additional lessons that show some that get just a little bit more complicated. You want to showcase your expertise, and the reason I put this in here is because your lead magnet should be showing off something about what you and your business do that establishes yourself more as an expert in the eyes of the people that download this thing. And then we want to enter a new contact into a follow-up sequence so that we can continue to nurture them and push them down our sales pipeline. So what are the pieces and parts? Well, the pieces and parts are first a squeeze page. These are the parts that are going to be web pages. These are the things that are going to be part of Infusionsoft. So a squeeze page, let's make sure we get our definitions right. A squeeze page is something that looks like this. This is a page that I put together for this example based on some other things that I've done in the past, because I do have a lead magnet that looks just like this one. And the only thing that this page is trying to get people to do is to fill out this form. There's no buy button on this. It's just download this free report. And I've got to put some nicer wording around this so that people know that it's free. But for the purposes of the example, this is more than adequate. So this is what I'm calling a squeeze page. Maybe you want to call it a landing page, but I'll be calling it a squeeze page throughout this. We want to have a thank you page. Now, I call this out separately, but you'll see that in this example, the thank you page and the lead magnet delivery page are going to be one and the same, because when someone fills out this form, we're going to send them right to the lead magnet page where they can see the page with the download that they're going to be seeing. So I'll go over here and just show you an example of the one that I've built. We're waiting. Okay, so this is the, and by the way, this stands for Incredibly Powerful Marketing, the Small Business Edition. So I'm going to go over here. And this is a WordPress website that I've got, and we're going to view this. So this is what we're going to be used as the download page, and it's also going to be the page that we're going to use as our thank you page, because what people really want to see when they fill out that form is exactly what they're going to be downloading. So back over here. So these are all the pages that we're going to be using as a part of this example. And then we've got to go into the Infusionsoft pieces. So we're going to need a web form, because this squeeze page right here and this part of it has to connect up to WordPress to start the process off. We have to have a confirmation email template. So we're going to want to send them an email after they fill out this form so that they can get access to the lead magnet after the fact. It also helps us out with some double opting in. and I'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to want to put them into a follow-up sequence so that we can send them additional material after they've downloaded it. The follow-up sequence is going to have some email templates. Those are the things that we're going to send them, and throughout this I'm going to show you examples of how I like to tag my my different artifacts or my different Infusionsoft pieces, and then we're going to be needing some links, and we'll be talking a lot about that in a minute. So how does this all work? Well, I think one of the things that's very important is that you do these in the right order. If you do them in the wrong order, what ends up happening is you end up having to go back and forth inside of Infusionsoft and to your website to get pieces done. So I've ordered these this way because if you do it this way, it ends up being a little bit more straightforward and it's not nearly as confusing. So I've already shown you what our squeeze page looks like. Again, this is inside of WordPress, and I'm using the Optimized Press theme for this. Just a great theme for creating pages like these very quickly. So we're going to have this squeeze page as I've shown you guys. So we have this page available here as well. So here's our squeeze page. We have our thank you page. And again, the thank you page is going to be the page of the web form that the web form lands on as soon as people fill out the squeeze page form. So it's really nice because they'll get instant access to the document as soon as they fill it out. And then we're also calling that the lead magnet delivery page. But I want to make sure we pointed out that this could be a separate thank you page if we were doing something else. Okay, so here we are in Infusionsoft. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to templates first. I want to show you how I put the link together, but you got to do this in perspective. So I'm going to go over into templates. And I've started to build a template. And I'm calling this one the lead magnet confirmation email. So this is the email that the web form is going to send out as soon as someone fills out the form. Now the way that I like to build these deliveries is I have people land on the lead magnet page so that they can automatically download whatever I'm trying to give them. But I also send them on a confirmation email that they have, as soon as they go to their email, that also gives them a link to get to that page. There's two benefits to that. So that if they accidentally close the browser and they no longer have access to that download page, they can get to that page through the email. It also gives me a chance to do a double opt-in, and I'll show at the end when I show you how this all works, to take people from a single opt-in as a contact in Infusionsoft to a double opt-in. And there's a lot of benefits to doing that. Particularly, Infusionsoft will get people that are double opted in and send them from cleaner servers, which means that you have a higher deliverability rate in the emails that go out that way. So here we are. This is the confirmation page. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to open up this email template. Now this here, even though it looks like it's a link, it's not. I just highlighted it in red for purposes of this example. But this is the email we're going to send people as soon as they fill out the form. Now, like I was saying here, is the next thing we need to do is to build this links. And the link that we're going to be building, and I'm going to highlight this here, replaces these words click here. So I'm going to go over here, click. I'm going to go to links. And I'm going to create an opt-in link. I'm going to go and create a double opt-in link. And I'm going to name this LG confirmation email double opt-in. So I'm going to go, whenever you build these things, I want you to notice that there are two tabs. As soon as we hit say, there's going to be a third tab. And we want to type in click here. And we want to hit click here. This is what the link is going to be in the template. And the first thing I always do is I do a save here, because the save gives me this tab, and I'll show you in a minute what we do with it. So if the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go to the double opt-in page. Now I want you to notice that these two pages look an awful lot alike. So there are some things you put in here and there's some things you put in over here. I'm going to be giving you, and this will be available on the page where you download this, where you can view this this lesson, is I'm going to create a double opt-in script. And this is a script that I'll make available to you. And what it enables you to do, again, you don't have to really understand how all this script works, but you put it into this field. You put it into the source for this. Paste. And what we're trying to do is we're going to allow people to click on the email that they receive, the confirmation email, and arrive at the download page. And in the process of doing that, we're going to go through a double opt-in process. Here now, I want to replace it with the address of the download page. So I'm going to go over here to my download page, and I'm going to swipe this path. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go to Infusionsoft. I'm going to go to this window, and I'm going to replace this. So this is where this page is going to take you. So I'm going to do a save here, and then I'm going to go over to actions. Now, I really recommend that you come up and you tag the things that you do. So I'm going to just create a new tag in here. I'm going to put this into my training programs. So it's going to be LJ training. And I always say this person clicked on IPMS Small Business Edition double opt-in link. So I'm going to create this tag, and I want to make sure that everybody that comes up and clicks on this gets tagged. That way, later if I want to do any debugging, I can understand, did they follow this link? So I'll do a save again, and I'm going to do a save and close. So now I have this, and I'll, in order to find it, I know I named it training, so I'll do training here. So here's my training, and I was practicing before, so this one was already in here. So I'm going to do an edit and make sure this is the one I set up. It is. So this is the one that I want, and I'm going to insert that. So if you look over here, you see that it inserted that double opt-in link. I'm going to get rid of this color because I don't want it to be so brightly colored. And when I go to and then I am going to close this. So I'm going to do a save. And you see here that I have a please click here to confirm and get your copy. So I've inserted that. If I go down here, before this email will go out, I have to do ready to send, and I have to make sure that's yes. I'm going to hit a save here. And what I'm going to do is illustrate, okay, we now have a double opt-in link. That's the one that we have. The click here is looking pretty, and the reason this is in here is because we typed that into one of those fields in the double opt-in link. In order to lower this score and increase our deliverability, maybe we throw in some additional code. I would recommend that you throw it in maybe underneath the signature, because the whole point of this page is you want people to click and get there. So if I go back to my presentation deck, you'll see that I now have a link, and the link is now a part of the email template. The next thing you want to do is you want to create a follow-up sequence. This is the follow-up sequence that will run from the web form when people fill it out, because not only do we want to tag a contact to show that they filled out that form, but we also want to put them in a follow-up sequence so that we can send them things or take whatever actions we want after they fill out the form. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go to the legacy, and under legacy we're going to go to follow-up sequences. And as part of the follow-up sequence, we're going to add a new one, and I'm going to call this LJ Training Delivering a Lead Magnet. And we don't have any categories for it yet, so I'm going to just say create a lead sequence. So right now it's empty. Now one of the things that I we need to put in here is we're going to send an email, and I'm going to specify an email that I already built or started building. So this is my lead training, lead magnet follow-up sequence email number 1. And this one gets sent out a certain number of days. Now, we're going to send the confirmation email as part of the web form. So that one's going to go out as soon as people fill out the form. What I'm going to do here is 3 days later, we're going to send them another message. And so just so you can get an idea of what I'm sending them, this one is just filled out for illustrative purposes. How do you like my book? Dear George, the first message to talk up the book and encourage them to actually read it. So you can put whatever you want in here, but this is just an email. You do have to make sure that you click this email readiness button. If you make this a little bit longer and put more links, you could probably lower this spam score a little bit. But in any case, we can work on that some other time. So here you have the first email that's going to go out. I'm going to save and go to the follow-up sequence. And then I'm going to do something that I recommend you do when you're putting some of these together. I always like, if you put people into a follow-up sequence and there isn't much going on other than an email going on day 3, they go through and then they fall out of the follow-up sequence. And the problem is then later you have to throw people back in there if you want to take some additional activity. So one thing that's kind of nice to do is I will specify an email to be sent 999 days later. And I created this other message before, and I call it the bogus email message. And it's an email that I'm going to send out 999 days into the future. And this one never actually gets sent. And then, if you send, I sort of hope you never see this. It's intended just to keep people in my follow-up sequence. So I don't even care if this one is ready to send, because the intention is that it never will get sent. But in the process of doing that, I keep anybody that's put into this follow-up sequence inside of this, so that at any time I can go into the options, and then when I view the contacts in the follow-up sequence, they're going to be in there, so that if I send them a first email, they don't take action, and I'm not ready to do whatever else I want to do with them, I don't have to worry about them falling through the follow-up sequence, and then I have to do some additional work to put them back in. Okay, so if I go back over here to my presentation deck, you'll see I have a link created, I have a follow-up sequence created, and I have this confirmation email set up, and I have a follow-up sequence email set up, as well as a few other things that I showed you guys. So I'm going to go back to the search results. So now I have this follow-up sequence, which is the one that the web form will assign them to as soon as they fill out the form. Okay, I'm going to close this script out, and I am going to now build a web form. So I'm going to go to Legacy here, and I'm going to add a web form. So this one's going to be LJ training register to receive. If I could spell lead magnet. PMSBE. I make my names as creative as descriptive as possible, so that in the future I can go back and understand what this form does. So I'm going to create a form. Because I'm using Optimized Press, I don't really have to stylize this anymore. If you go over to here, you notice it's got 2 fields, a first name and an email, and the default form that comes, that comes with any web form when you create it follows the exact same format. So this is pretty nice. I don't have to really modify this any. So I'm going to go into the actions, and the first thing I want to do in here is I want to tag this, because I want to know when people fill this out that they did. So I'm going to go in here. This is part of my training programs, and I name everything consistently. So this one, so filled out lead magnet web form. So we're going to create this tag and we're going to save it. So the first action they do is that one. Now I want to make sure here that I assign them to my follow-up sequence. So here is my training delivering a lead magnet. So we'll do a save there. So we're going to do this step and we're going to do this step. And then down here at the bottom, I always like to change the name of this. So someone downloaded my lead magnet. Once you start getting more and more web forms, you want to make these names more descriptive so when that you get an email, you know exactly which one of the forms or which one of the actions people took. So these are the two actions that I want to happen as soon as someone fills out the form. Then I have a thank you page. Now this thank you page, I don't really care for these default forms. They're just too, generic, but they work. But I want to send them to a custom page, and this is going to be the page where they download. So I'm going to copy and paste this address over into the web form. So this is where they're going to land as soon as they fill out the form. So I do have a misspell here, but as long as it's misspelled consistently, I am good. Look at that, I'm missing a G, but as long as I'm consistent, I'm good. So I'll go back over here, and I'm going to save just because I need to save it at this point. In a minute, I'm going to grab the code that I'm going to move over into the squeeze page. But for right now, what I want to do is do a test. So I want to make sure that this form works. So I'm going to fill this out, and I'm just going to name it. Here's a name I haven't used before. I have a test email that I can use for this. So I'm going to create this person called Matilda. I'm going to submit it. And as soon as these people are done, they filled out the form and they get at this page. And if they click here, they can download the ebook. They can also download by clicking here. So the form is at least arriving at the correct page, which means that I correctly filled out this piece. Now I've already saved this page. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to look up Matilda. I shouldn't have too many Matildas in my database. So there is a person called Matilda. It is the one that I filled out. They are single opted in, which is something I want to make sure you see. And they are tagged as someone who filled out the lead magnet web form. So I've confirmed that the tag is set up correctly. And then the last thing I want to test is make sure they're put into the follow-up sequence. So follow-up sequences. So there you have it. She's got the lead magnet scheduled to go out. Just so you're aware, it takes these emails sometimes as long as an hour to go out. So I do not recommend you send your confirmations out of the follow-up sequences because they take so long sometimes that people sometimes wonder if the form is working correctly. So I always send the emails out of the confirmation, out of the web form itself. So I have to do that in a minute. And then I have this bogus email message, which is the one that keeps them in there. So this one goes out in a couple days. Today when I'm recording this, it's May 18th. So 3 days later, it's going to send this one out. And as you can see, this is several years into the future. Now, the one thing that I did not do, and I apologize, I should have done this, is I need to send out a confirmation email. So let me go to the web form. And here I have some actions. Now, because I'm doing this way, I am not going to do this email confirmation request. I am going to send it out to everybody no matter what. So I am going to select an email. And I am going to send out LJ training. And this is my confirmation email. I'm going to save this. So this email will go out. I'm going to test this one last time as part of the inserting it into OptimizePress, and I'll show you how that works. So I'm not going to test this one more time. So I'm going to do a save here, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to publish. And what I want to do is I'm going to get the code, and the code is available in 3 different formats. So this is how do I get this web form to show up on a web page where I want to use it. So the JavaScript one is good if I want to place it into a website that's got like a place like a widget for me to put it in. The HTML code, this has got some style sheets built into it, which is what makes the code look pretty, or however you format it here. I don't really need to format it because the OptimizePress theme has a feature for grabbing this HTML and making use of it. So I'm going to go over to the squeeze page. That's this one here. This one is the squeeze page, and it's got this opt-in squeeze form, and it's got this autoresponder code where it will allow you, here, copy the form code from your autoresponder provided and paste it into the box below. So if I paste this in here, it's smart enough to get it. You see how as soon as I clicked in, it was able to know that I've got 2 fields, one for the first name and one for the email, that it pulled out of the same code that I got out of Infusionsoft. So that's how I provide the connection. And so it knows that here's the form, and you see that this is Larry Jacob, Infusionsoft.com, so it's an Infusionsoft thing. It knows to put in all these cool hidden fields, and we're ready to go. So I'm going to go up like this. I'm going to update this, and we should be ready to go. Okay, so let's test this form out and make sure it works. So we're going to come up, and this time it'll be Roger. And this will go to roger@anikagroup.com. And I am going to download it. We come up and we land on the thank you page so people can download it. Let's go over to Infusionsoft, and we'll check for Roger. Make sure that Roger is in. Oh, great. I picked a name that's not as easy to search for. Here we go. So here's Roger. Roger's in here. He was tagged with the web form tag. If we go down here and look for follow-up sequences, he was correctly added to the follow-up sequence. He's going to be getting something in 3 days. We have this one that's holding him into the follow-up sequences so it doesn't accidentally fall out. If we look under tasks, we see that he was sent the email, so he's got this training lead magnet confirmation, so that was sent out. He's properly tagged. So now let's go over and look at email. So I'm going to come up over here, and you see that Roger was sent this email. And one thing I want to point out. Over here, if you'll notice, Roger is single opted in. When I go over here and click on this link, not only do I land on the page, so now I can go back to the page where I download the email, but if I do a refresh of Roger's page, or Roger's contact record, you'll see that clicking on that email will give him a double opted in. And like I said before, it gives him a better deliverability off of the Infusionsoft servers because they figured you've actually gone beyond the Call of Duty to make sure that they really are opted in and you're not cheating. So that's this lesson. I hope this can be useful to you. If you follow these instructions, you should be ready to go.